Hey, guess what band we were just talking about before we're live on air now? Can you guess? We're talking about White Flag. Actually, I'm a fan. We were kind of singing the praises of White Flag a little bit. But hey, everyone, welcome to another free for all. It should be an interesting show tonight. As you know, every week we all come on here and like talk about records we love, we're passionate about, we love, we like, we're crazy about them. We've been doing that for a couple of years. This has been a request for quite a while for one of these free for alls. Hey, why don't you do one of these records that you don't like so much? And so your requests have been answered. Here we are. We're going to do that tonight. Let's see how it goes. And also, actually, another thing that like right from the beginning of doing this show, I used to get a bit of like, why do you always talk about records that you like every week? You know, I got a bit of that, right? Well, that's kind of the point of the show, right? To talk about records that we like and love that we listen. But actually, Paul, you did once show a record that you didn't like with a kind of thing, don't buy it. I forget what was that record. I kind of forget what it was.
I don't remember either. It was like episode 3 or 6 or whichever one I did.
It was way back, yeah. And you were like, but you did it in such a great way that you know, people probably.
Well, to be honest, I figure like once I own it, I can say whatever the fuck I want about it. Whether it be like a Philly cheesesteak or a book or like a pair of pants. Like once it's mine, like whatever happens next it's mine. If exactly. I get a Ford Focus, like it's mine. I can call it a piece of trash.
Exactly right. So I was like thinking, should I do a bit of a disclaimer, blah blah blah, and it's like, no need for a disclaimer. You know, if you don't like something, you don't like something. I place a few records around me just to show that there are people out there who don't like the Ramones. There are people out there who don't like the Sex Pistols. There are people who don't like the Misfits. So with that said, I think pretty much any record or any band is kind of fair game, and we're all adults. We're not going to get angry with each other for like if we hate someone else's favorite band or. Well, we might. We'll see, won't we? We'll see how many beers. See by round 5. See how many arguments have broken. But it's going to be a fun show. I got 5 records. I hope some more people are going to join us. It will work okay. It will work okay with 3 of us. But like, if you're in the chat, jump on. Come on, don't be shy. I know. Even I was like, man. A bit nervous about this. People are going to kind of be like judging my tastes and like looking at me in a different light after I admit but I think people kind of know my tastes after watching this show for like a bunch of times. People kind of know what I like and kind of don't like, but that's about it. Shall we get going? Shall we get going?
Cheers.
All right. I'm going in with my first pick. This band was a breath of fresh air in the UK in like 1989 when they just suddenly appeared, like fully formed. Their first single, their first LP are just perfect, like classics. I used to go and see them all the time, and everybody loved them. And then in 1990, they followed up the first LP with another record, and that is the record I'm going to talk about because it was like, especially these days, it's more disappointing to me now than it was back then. We kind of had a bit of a laugh with it back then, but now I don't find it that funny as an old man. I'm kind of angry with it, and I don't like. I'm talking about Snuff as the band I'm talking about, and the first LP, which is a classic. But even on this one, there's a couple of covers, right? I'm talking about cover versions is what I'm going to be getting to with the next record. But on this one, they had like, I Think We're Alone Now, which is okay. It's like a kind of pop punk cover of the Tiffany song. It's fine. An awful version of Purple Haze. It sucks. It should not be on here. But this is a classic record, no doubt. Then we get this Flibbity Dibbity Dop. Which
right off the jump, shots fired right at me. Shots fired right at my heart, Mike.
Flibbity Dibbity Dog comes out on Workers' Playtime, which isn't that connected with alternative? It's like an alternative tentacles offshoot. I don't know. Anyway, comes out. It's got 2 Snuff songs on it, which neither of those songs are as good as any of the songs on the first record. They're okay, and then a whole bunch of covers on it, right? And like some of the covers, they're not terrible. Do Nothing's pretty good. Like the Specials cover, it's good,
Do
right?
Nothing.
Do Nothing's fine. Can't Explain by the Who, it's fine. It's decent. But then it's funny actually because the really bad ones they don't list them on the back. Like it's not on the track listing. So when you buy it, you're not aware. It's only when you put the record on that you find out about other stuff that's on this record. But the GBH cover, man, City Baby, Attacked by Rats. I can't stand it. And like I went to see their last show ever. Of course, they reformed and they played it and they called it like City Crusty Attacked by with Soap. City Crusty Attacked by
City Crusty Attacked by Soap. Yep.
City Crusty. I just don't like. I love GBH so much, and I love Snuff, but I just don't like the way that they do this song. And then the worst of it all is the jingles, the TV commercials that they do these little covers off. And I hated those commercials back then. But they are like, I can even remember the jingles. I just look at the song title. I can sing. I'm not going to sing it, but I remember like the jingles. What have you got? You've got the Shake and Vac. This like stupid commercial of a woman. It's like this kind of fragrant powder you put on your carpet and you hoover, and it's like you do the shake and vac and put the freshness back. And it's just super annoying. And they do a cover version of that commercial. And then there's the Brown Flakes breakfast cereal, like Brown Flakes. They're tasty, very, very tasty. They're very tasty. You know, they do that as well. And there's the worst one though is like Quick Fit Fitters. Quick Fit Fitters were a UK thing. It's like these guys in boiler suits, young. They're always like young blokes, the kind of blokes who will beat you up after the pub on a Friday night, who did like maintenance. They were like worked on cars. You could take your car to a Quick Fit Fitter, and they would do the job really, really quickly, and you'd be on your way and have a good day. So they were called the Quick Fit Fitters. So there's this horrible jingle. You can't, hey, Artie's here. You can't get quicker. You can't get quicker than a Quick Fit Fitter. You can't get quicker than a Quick Fit Fitter. They're the boys to trust. Oi. And it's just this real like laddie, like oi, 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 like it's horrible. I hated the commercial. I hate Snuff doing these like silly little covers. They do a thing where they do a sitcom thing too, In Sickness and in Health, which is like this sitcom that was around at the time.
I feel like for me, I used to see that record around a lot, and because of the cover, I never picked it up. The cover was just horrible to me, so I couldn't deal with it. But now I'm curious, like, how good of a jingle was it for Brown Flakes to make Brown Flakes seem appealing?
I guess I don't know where they got the idea to do these jingles, you know, these commercials. But like every person of that era, like who grew up in the 80s, like everybody knew these jingles, right? Because they were so catchy. So it was like kind of no-brainer for them, I suppose. Like it was kind of, they thought it was funny, right?
Right. It's funny that you say that because earlier today I was just thinking about the first time I might have ever heard Madness was actually like a Colgate commercial where they just take ska and they just do like a kids marching to brush their teeth.
Didn't they do like the Weetabix one too? I can imagine that. Yeah. There was a bunch of, maybe that's where they got the idea from. They would have probably loved Madness and like that commercial, so maybe that's where they got the idea from. But man, I know it's like even at that last show, they played way too many covers, you know. And I think I'm especially mad because Snuff writes such amazing songs that it just seems such a shame to have their set list like clogged up with these like silly little covers and stuff. So
I'll say, Mike, obviously I'm a total mark for Snuff. I like all of it, like every record, every jingle, everything. But I understand, not being down with it. I will say I got to see him pretty early. I mean, early for me. I saw him in 1990 when they came to the United States for the first time, I think. It's like a tour with Sam I Am. And as bad as Purple Haze is on the record, they just pulled some poor kid happened to be wearing a tie-dye shirt in the crowd, and they were just like, "Oh, you're wearing a tie-dye shirt. You're coming up and singing this." I don't think they just pulled him up on stage and were like, "You better know the words. You've got this tie-dye shirt on, you fucking hippie." So and of course he didn't know the words, and it was even more disastrous and ridiculous in the record. But yeah, they would play those. I mean, you saw them, I guess, earlier, right? In 89 or
89, and then the last gig before they broke up, that was in that was November 17th, 1990. I think there's a LP of it,
okay.
right? At the Kilburn National.
Live at the Kilburn National.
Live at
Yeah.
the Kilburn National, yeah.
They came to the US in 90, and then I saw them again when they reformed. They played Baltimore. And when they played that Baltimore show, there was no set list. The drummer, of course, was like towards the front of the stage.
Right.
And he was just like, "What do you want to hear?" And everybody would just yell things out. And he would just point his drumsticks and go, "No, no, absolutely not. Yes." And then they would play whatever song that was, including, I think, We're Alone Now. And then they had somebody just come up and sing that too, just some random kid in the crowd. They were like, "Oh, who wants to sing this?" So I think they were being very silly with
The only thing,
the covers and stuff.
the other thing I'm not proud of, but I do like the fact that I do have a workers original, a workers playtime original. It's not a Chubby Michael reshoot.
Yeah. Yep. There's a radio station in Baltimore, a college radio station, and this guy Gary Hitchens had a show on it, and he was the person, he played Snuff on the radio, and he just said that record, and he was like, "Oh, if you don't go see them at the 930 Club next week with Sam I Am, your life is a waste," or something. And I was like, "Well, I got to go to that show."
I mean, such a great band. But this record, nah.
Understandable.
But I got to keep it. I got to keep it, and it takes up a little bit of space, and it's got to be there with all the other Snuff records, So
yeah,
that's my first pick. Paul.
I think that's a good first pick.
Thanks.
I think it's solid, and it really kind of laid out what I think that you meant for this.
Yeah. I actually had it lower down. Then I was like, this is actually a good kickoff one to get going with. So I went with Snuff.
I'm not going to start off with throwing down and throwing punches yet. I don't want to start losing friends. So I'll start off pretty easy with the indie rock crowd to disassociate myself from them. A lot of times great bands that you love, like a three-piece or whatever, you'll think that like, hey, this main person in the band is the singer, the songwriter. That's the weight of the band. So then when that band breaks up, you want to start following the path that they're on. And you soon find that the magic was all in the three of them or four of them together and not just the single project. The record that many of my friends swear by, that is terrific, defined summer, fall, winter for them, that I just really cannot even listen to all the way through, is this band, The Forgetters. Blake Schwarzenbach, after he left Jawbreaker,
right,
everybody wanted to be like, oh, he's the guy that did everything. He's just gonna, whatever he touches turns to gold. Well, sometimes it's a flower in a sea of shit or whatever. And this is part of that sea of shit that just does not add up for me. I guess the lyrics are there. I don't know what was going on. I don't pretend to know. I don't want to know. I'm just saying the way that people that I hold close, people I love, people who've been to my wedding, people who've stayed at my house swear by this record, and their affinity for it makes me think of them differently as people.
Right.
I remember once being in a similar to this. I was in a bar in New York, and my friend Dan Bittner was visiting. And we were sitting with some people, and someone at the table was like, man, Tim Kinsella or the guy whoever is from Promise Ring or one of those bands, right? He's like, that guy's just like the poet of our generation. And my friend Dan literally like spit his drink out all over the table and just started laughing like crazy. I feel the same way when people talk about this as being like so terrific. I gotta be like, really? Like, have we heard the same thing? So yeah.
I gotta be honest, I've never heard of this record before. Artie, we're talking about a band called The Forgetters, who is like Blake from Jawbreaker.
Oh. I think I had heard of it previously, but I had forgotten.
I don't think it's...
Lots of my 90s friends swear by it. Not me. Like, this is... Okay, so you know how Ebullition records are split into 2 categories? All my friends that like...
Bad and worse.
Yeah, and worst. My friends that like this, like the ones that... Man, I'm not going to dive into that yet. This light's too young. I don't want to...
You might as well... Come on. Let it out.
They like...
I'm annihilated already, so... Yeah.
Oh, God.
The friends that like the Ebullition records that sound like twinkly guitars and aren't hardcore are also the ones that like this record.
Okay.
So none of my friends that like Iconoclast like this record, but all of my friends that like
Spitboy.
Oh, Tony's gone. Oh, I'm already losing friends.
He's like, yeah, had enough of this.
Give it up.
Hot Water Music. Yeah, that was actually on my because you know the split with Leatherface, the one-sided split with Leatherface that's out there. I guess
as bad as Hot Water Music. I think it's a totally different kind of thing. Because
okay.
at least when you go to a Hot Water Music show, you can see just a lot of sweaty, shirtless dudes running around yelling a bunch. No one's taking their shirts off at a Forgetter show. In fact, on that record, I think it's just him and a drummer, and I think Jay Robbins does any bass tracks on it.
Okay.
None of that matters. It's not. He's back. Oh, did you just go run to see if you have a Forgetters record?
No. I also don't like the Forgetters record. I'm sorry. I was so bad that I had to log off. No, as soon as Artie, I didn't touch anything. As soon as Artie logged on, all my sound went away. Artie logged on and just immediately everything muted without touching anything. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't happen every time somebody logs on.
He wields a lot of power.
I do. I'm like
got up.
Just a walking curse.
Watch yourself. All right, Tony.
Oh shit! I jumped ahead. Yep, there it was. Okay. Yeah, I am gonna start by throwing punches. I'm just gonna just fucking drop the hammer right off the jump. But I will say, I have to preface it by saying I think that like why people like or don't like certain records, sometimes it just has to do with when you discovered the band. Yep. Like, for example, just to soften everybody up here, I fucking hate Kiss and I really fucking hate Led Zeppelin. But the thing is that just like I understand that people a little older, I understand that people discovered Kiss before they discovered punk. Right? Or they discovered Led Zeppelin before they discovered punk or whatever. And so then Kiss is super influential. I mean, super influential to a whole bunch of bands that I worship. You know what I mean? Like the Chemical People and the Doughboys are just nothing but like talking about Kiss, covering Kiss, having Kiss rip-off shirts. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I understand, you know, sometimes it's just when did you get into something? What's your age bracket? You know, whatever. And then that really colors your perception. In my case, I fucking hate this record. I'm so sorry.
That's funny.
Zero.
Didn't I say
zero tracks?
Like, there are even people out there who hate the Sex Pistols.
I'm so sorry. He was right here with me the whole time. Yeah. Tell us, where is the man that hates the Sex Pistols? Is he in the room with you right now, Mike?
The call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, he hates him. I hate him so much. I can't
Okay,
even.
explain to us why. Explain to us, Tony, why.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, look, the mean way of saying it is 0 riffs, 0 songs, 0 lyrics, hate everything about it, like top to bottom. But the more serious, like the less, just trying to arty Philly it up here, the less of that is just that I just had the fortune or no fortune of hearing the Ramones and the Buzzcocks and the Jam and the Damned first. Right? I just didn't get that record first. And I understand, just like with Kiss, if you happen to hear that record first, it was like a complete bolt of lightning out of nowhere. It's like super fucking influential. You know what I mean? It's just like, I get it. I'm not judging anybody else for liking them. Of course, that would be ridiculous. It's just that I heard the Damned and the Buzzcocks and the Jam first. And in my ears, the worst Jam song in the world is better than whatever anybody might consider to be the best Sex Pistols song in the world, if such a thing even existed, which it doesn't. But like,
and you know what's great about that statement?
I'd rather listen to the fucking Style Council than
well, that's what I'm saying. The greatest thing about that statement that you just made is you have like albums of material that might have a sleeper track versus just like 9 songs,
one album,
and then like some bootlegs or whatever.
Yeah, so. for sure. And I mean, look, I'm playing it up a little bit here. I'm being a little silly.
Play away.
But I mean, I totally understand why they're so influential. I get it. But like, seriously, I'll watch documentaries about them. I'll read books about them. Just don't play the fucking music. It's fucking killing me. I just can't handle it. It's like so. And I'm a person that likes rudimentary horseshit. I mean, like, I like the fucking Angry Samoans inside my brain more than back from Samoa. You know what I mean? So it's not like I want or expect some kind of like, you know what I mean? Like some kind of like amazing playing or anything. I get that it's rudimentary and it's supposed to be, but just from a pure songwriting standpoint, I mean, again, right out of the gate, the Jam, the Buzzcocks, everything. It just like smashes it to pieces. And if I had heard it, Sex Pistols first, Damned second, no problem. I probably would have had no problem. It's just hearing those other records first and then trying to go backwards and just being like, oh no, whoops. You know what I mean? Like I can't fuck with it,
I think you're giving the Sex Pistols a pass. I don't think if you would have heard it first, you would have held it above those other records.
Oh, you don't think so?
Something when I've heard the Sex Pistols record, there's something very definitely almost unauthentic in it compared to those other records that you hear, especially like In the City. Just feels like it's just start to finish, except for on the Batman theme, but start to finish, it just sounds like a bunch of friends having a great time in a room. Same with the Damn.
Got to remind me about Batman theme. I mean, I'd still rather listen to the Batman theme than Bodies.
Yeah, the worst Jam Batman theme is better than the best Sex Pistols song. Fine, let's agree on that. But funny is like kind of the yin and the yang of that is today in my my feeds of things came up with this guy who's like, I literally buy a copy of this every time it comes out, and it showed his wall of about 50 Sex Pistols records.
Sure,
and one he was playing on and clear. And that just happened today, like within the past 8 hours. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Flip through, and then all of a sudden, call it coincidence, shooting star, however. But
all right,
that's like an Axl Rose thing. I remember when like after Use Your Illusion, whatever the second fucking Guns N' Roses record was, he did an interview where he was this mega star, and he's like, every town I go to, there's 2 records I buy: Stooges, Funhouse, and Sex Pistols. Never mind the Bollocks. And he has like 100,000, however many copies he's bought since he was, So
if I owned a Guns N' Roses record, which I never fucking would to the day I die, that would also be on my list. I would for sure pull one out, but then I would have to own one, and I can't.
And it's not punk either, so not punk. So
no.
Not. Ask though, Professionals. Are you on board with Professionals?
Absolutely love them. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably
Yeah.
within reaching distance. I have
Yeah.
Professionals 45s. I even like fucking PIL. Fucking no problem. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know, something about them. Like I said, I understand the influence. I even like, the graphic design. There's,
Right.
it's just the songs. There's no hooks. There's nothing. There's just nothing. Zero.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Beautiful. I think
But
you
just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Nice. You've opened the floodgates now, and
Yeah, sorry. I had to go right to the throat. Yeah,
I thank
sorry.
you, sir. I thank you, sir.
Artie
Right.
Philly's here. He encouraged me.
Yes.
Blame it on Artie.
If Steve Jones watches this, he's going to be very upset, I guess.
Artie, what you
I only have time for this one, and then I have to get back to watching Friday the 13th with my 10-year-old, which is wildly inappropriate. I could probably be putting this up for just saying that that's what I'm going to do. But this is a band I popped into my head when this episode first came up. I bought their record in I don't remember what the fucking year, maybe 2010, 2012. I had previously bought a record from them that had that they collaborated with Bjork, and I'm like a casual Bjork fan. I'm like a super Sinead O'Connor fan, but I'm like a casual Bjork fan. I'm like I kind of lost touch with what she was doing, and then I was like, oh, she's in this weird like hipster band, and I bought it, and it was interesting, and I listened to it and I filed it away, and then I saw another record from this band, and the title pulled me in, and then I looked at the tracks, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. This was the Dirty Projectors, and the title is Rise Above. So it's all Black Flag covers.
Ooh.
And yeah, so this is where you make bad decisions. There might be alcohol involved. You might just be in a store feeling awkward and you got to buy something and you got to leave. But for whatever reason, I walked out with this and I was like, this could be cool. This is like the worst use of my money I've ever, like, this is worse than like I don't even know why I still have it. But as soon as you said, oh, we're going to do the records we hate, I was like, that fucking thing is still there. This is like the era of like hipster indie rock of like the mid 2000s to like the mid 2000 or the early 2010s, where all the cool kids discovered like Flipper and Jesus Lizard and Black Flag, and they were all like, oh, that's cool. But this band sounds like all those like Polyphonic Spree and like what I'm assuming Pedro the Lion sounds like, or bands like that I would just see the name and just not even try. But it's all like weird vocalizations and all like sound collage and strange lutes and fucking people in tight pants, and they're all doing these Black Flag songs, which are like it's amazing how you can have Black Flag songs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, like 12 times. You can get one good version out of 12 attempts.
What did they attempt? What are the songs on that? What do they do?
They did okay. Side A, What I See, No More, Depression, Six Pack, Thirsty and Miserable. Bold choices. Side B, a little more, meat and potatoes. Police Story, Gimme, 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 Spray Paint, Room 13, Rise Above. So at no point did they succeed in reimagining what a Black Flag song could sound like, or whatever, adding their fingerprint on artwork, or whatever the metaphor is. This is an utter self-indulgent, masturbatory failure, cascading series of failures ever put into an unrecyclable item. This is a blight on humanity. This is a crime.
And I love it.
But the band's Dirty Projectors.
Okay.
It's not even. It doesn't even look cool. It's just like black vinyl with like. It's like low effort. It's like they were out one night and they heard Black Flag on like the Daddy's Jukebox or whatever Williamsburg bar they were in, Jukebox, and they were like, I don't even know if they're from Brooklyn. I'm just assuming. they were like, oh yeah, this is like real punk rock. And then they went and they spent a night Spotifying and Googling what Black Flag was. And then they were like, let's do our version. And that's going to be cool. People will think we're cool. We'll think we're cool. This will be timeless and we have to document it. So this is the last time I'll be laying hands on this before it goes in the sale pile.
Gonna sell it tomorrow?
What's that?
You're gonna sell it tomorrow or pretty soon, right? It's gonna be
pretty soon. It's going into the crate where I eventually just, haul over and I exchange for one fucking Fela Kuti box set or whatever the fuck I can afford with all the crap.
You're not far off. They literally are from Brooklyn.
Are they?
There you go.
Yeah.
Very
I bought it in Chicago because I know it came out after 2010 when I moved here. So at some point I was like, oh, that could be cool. Yeah, that sounds like it's probably before I was married because I was making all sorts of terrible decisions before I met my wife. So
stop, Artie. I don't believe you. Oh wait, I was there.
It was great. You were there for a very significant percentage of those decisions. Yes.
Oh.
I think cover versions might be a bit of a sub theme tonight. We'll see. But like Simon, like Simon said, I kind of want to hear this actually. Just to you've sold it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, now that it's been addressed, it's like it's a car accident. You can't look away. But I really just you've been warned.
Okay.
But I apologize. I do have to bail now because I have Friday the 13th to put on. Thank you, gentlemen.
See you on the other side.
Come back after they go to bed.
All right. Hey, Kevin, what's up?
Hi.
What you got for us?
So I feel like a bit of a wally, and I'll tell you why. Because I forgot that this was punk themed, and I went and I chose a hard rock album by a legendary band. Do forgive me for my lack of attention to detail. Now, as a young boy growing up in New Zealand, there wasn't a lot of heavy metal around. I first got into heavy metal when I was 10 years old. And it was through the We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister music video that I saw on television. Okay, this is during the time of the Satanic Panic, and they weren't freaking my Scottish Catholic mother out particularly. When I turned 11, however, I got into Iron Maiden, and I was like, heavy metal, this is very, very good. A good friend of mine by the name of Marlon Paku, an Indigenous Māori friend, who I'm still friends with to this day, gave me a copy, like a dubbed cassette of the Iron Maiden Live After Death album. And I played that 3 or 4 times a day for about 3 or 4 years. I just loved that so much. So in 1985, the band AC/DC put out an album, Fly on the Wall. And my first exposure to AC/DC was the Sink the Pink video that I saw on television, which I thought was okay. And so through my friend Marlon Paku, I got hold of a copied cassette of Fly on the Wall. And that was the first AC/DC that I heard. And I hadn't heard anything earlier. And I basically wrote them off because my points of comparison were Twisted Sister and Iron Maiden. And, people really didn't make a huge distinction between kind of hard rock and heavy metal in New Zealand at that time. There wasn't a lot around, you can get your hands on when you're that age. And so I wrote them off for like such a long time. And it wasn't until I was a bit older, like mid-teens, that I heard Bon Scott era, like Highway to Hell, and kind of truly understood that this Fly on the Wall wasn't really a good representation of the band. And I just kind of wonder, like, how many other people were in that situation and wrote AC/DC off just because they weren't on the radio. They were on television occasionally, but this really wasn't kind of prime AC/DC.
No, it's like it's not. Well, it's like one of the worst ones. But but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who were of age at that. Tony, what your favorite was?
It was my no, but it was my first concert ever. Was that tour?
There you go.
1985. Yeah, Fastway opened up for them, and so it was the first concert ever. Yeah, Fastway was the first band that I ever saw, and then AC/DC on that tour. So yeah, I was like 14, or something, and yeah.
I guess seeing them in that context when they already had like the back catalog as well of songs to draw from.
Yeah, of course, right? They probably
Very-
played like 2 songs off of that record, you know what I mean, and everything else was older stuff. But I mean, to be fair, you know, first concert I ever saw, and like I said when I was trashing the Pistols earlier, it's just when do you get into something? You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, so for me, because I was so young when that happened, and it was my first concert, I was just like, I don't care what's happening. Like, there's guitars. Like, I'm seeing it live. It's amazing.
Right. No, that must have been-
but yeah,
But
of
just
course,
on the-
it's not a very good record. Like, as you say, it's not a great
yeah,
record.
and you know, pretty much everything else in their catalog that's, in my opinion, that's the only real stinker.
There's a few like
I guess there was the Who Made Who, but that was kind of a compilation
like
movie soundtrack kind of thing. I don't really know if I can
Stephen King,
recognize
was
it.
it, right?
Rock or Bust. Going deep now, Rock or Bust is pretty bad as well.
I don't think I've even heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Much later.
There's a lot out. There's a lot.
It's in the title.
Rock or Bust.
I really liked Who Made Who also.
Well, the title track's great, but the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The title
Well, I
track-
mean, you know, there's some great songs on it, but like for that to be put out as an album, it seemed a little bit pointless. But then it was a movie soundtrack, I guess. So
yeah.
I'm going to save this by saying that in Japan, like AC/DC were marketed as a punk band in Japan.
Amazing.
wow.
Yes.
Thank you for throwing me that lifeline. I feel like less of a Wally.
There you go. Which is interesting. It's an interesting fact that AC/DC were marketed as a punk band, and you can, when you just think about like Dirty Deeds and stuff like that, I guess you can kind of hear it, right? But
One of the funniest experiences I've had in Japan, and I've had many. I lived there for 16 years, and Mike and I are old friends from the late 90s back then. I was at a barbecue one time thrown by an Australian, and this is in Kobe, Japan, and he put the Dirty Deeds album on, and he'd invited some of his private students, these kind of middle-aged Japanese people, Japanese English students. And Mike, you actually took over that course from me because I took it over from him.
oh God, not that lot. Jesus.
That lot. Yep. You know what I'm talking about. And so my friend, he put on the Dirty Deeds album, and like Big Balls was playing, and we just had these kind of elderly Japanese people just dancing to Big Balls.
I've met these people, so I can envisage the scene. I can picture the scene. I've met these people he's talking about, so I can picture it. What a great imagery that is.
But Tony, just out of curiosity, how were Fastway that night when you saw them?
I mean, again, first live concert I ever saw, so I was real on board. If I remember correctly, I remember them saying that it was Fast Eddie Clarke's birthday that day. I know it was near my birthday, which was December 14th. But I don't have a ticket stub for that one. I saved a lot of crazy things, but I don't have a ticket stub. Years later, I found, retroactively the same shirt that I bought at that concert. So I have that upstairs somewhere. And of course I have the record back on the shelf right behind me.
First off, he's great.
I do have that one. Yeah. So, but I remember Fastway being good. I liked that record. I think I had it on cassette with the checkerboard on the front.
Right.
Yep. So, and then was like really surprised that the singer later was the singer of Flogging Molly, right? That, he had like an entire second act in life, singing for an Irish punk band, sort of.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
all right. This is a hot potato. I'm going to pass the hot potato around to see if you can catch it. Tribute albums. What are we thinking about the tribute album? There's so many of them. This one is going to represent pretty much every tribute album, every punk and hardcore tribute album. If you can think of any good ones, throw them in. I can't think of any good ones. There might be some. I'm showing this one because it's the only one I have left in my collection. It's quite a good representative of the representation of the theme, actually, is the tribute album theme. This happens to be a tribute to Discharge, and it's not even the most famous one. There's two more famous ones. There's the Discharged comp with like Extreme Noise Terror on it and stuff, and then there's the other one on Allied Records with like Nausea and maybe Neurosis and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Right? They're the two like most well-known ones, I want to say. This is the Swedish hardcore tribute to Discharge. In Defense of Our Future. It came out on Distortion
Records.
Infamous Distortion Records 2001. I mean, what's the point? Like, we love Discharge. There's a bunch of bands on here that I like or even love. I mean, Meanwhile are on this. Meanwhile are the best D-beat band that aren't Discharge, or one of the best. Totalitar on here. Uncurbed are on here. I actually don't like Uncurbed, but I don't have any Uncurbed records. Afscum, Driller Killer, Nasum, Disconto, who I don't really like either. Genocide SS, Victims, Dysphere, and then some weird sort of little like projects like Disjar, which is Kawakami from Disclose with the guy from Your Own Jailer Records and Disc Machine. But man, it's like, okay.
Oh, Jan Utila.
Yeah. That's him. That's a dude. But I mean, obviously, so much fun probably for these bands to go into the studio and knock out a Discharge cover. Probably Discharge themselves were like happy with it. I don't know. But for me as a listener, I don't want to hear any of this. It's like just like put the Discharge cover on a B-side or play it live, or not. There's not one song on here that betters the Discharge originals. And because it's Swedish hardcore, you're just sort of getting like, you know, C grade, D grade like versions of the Discharge tracks. But I'm sure there's plenty of people who like this. I think, I don't know, man, that Discharge one is dodgy as well, man. It's got some like dodgy stuff on there too. Like, I don't know, I don't own it anymore, but that's probably the most famous one. But can anybody explain to me like the point of the tribute album? There's so many of them. Like pretty much every band that's like mid to famous has a tribute album. There's a Japanese Bad Brains one, which is way worse than this. Has Rockin' Sweden on it and Asked For. I don't own that. There's a
on that one.
What's that? There's a Heresy one. There's the Poison Idea one. There's Husker Du ones. There's pretty much every band has had a tribute record.
So I have one that I like.
Okay.
It's a tribute to the Scientists, but it's a bunch of bands like the Laughing Hyenas and bands that like are already established bands that have names and have a sound. So when you hear their versions of the Scientist songs, it almost sounds like as it's their own. But when you get into those kind of comps that are just like brand new bands, like, oh, these are the bands we like, so we're gonna cover this because we do it in our set, then it just sounds like it's just aping some. It doesn't have a newness to it. But I wouldn't. There was that double LP Husker Du one that has some good songs on it, but it's only because the bands that are doing it, I think it's a lot of New York bands aren't. They changed the sound. So if you heard the song and you didn't know it was a Husker Du sound, you'd be like, oh, this is a fucking great new song that this band just did. And that's what I like to hear covers. But I feel like Garden Variety out of New York, whenever they covered a song, they made it their own. So if somebody just heard it, it would just be a band. It would be a song that could fit into their album. And unless you knew it was a cover, you'd be like, I had no idea that was a Cure song, or I had no idea that was a
right. I mean, I'm not against.
Mostly, like, no.
Yeah, I'm not like against cover versions per se. There's some amazing ones,
but tribute albums. But yeah,
tribute albums is the thing. Yeah,
like, I think there's been a bunch of like J Church tribute records too, and it's just a bunch of young pop punk bands that sound like a bad J Church or a worser J Church or whatever it is.
Like, you know, it's like I love, like I said, I love a lot of these bands on this record, but like,
the REM one was all right because that was different and weird.
Which one?
Surprise Your Pig?
Surprise the Pig, yeah, or Surprise Your Pig.
Yeah.
That had enough differentiating bands on there that all sounded different that it just sounded like a
tribute to, Paul?
What?
Who's that a tribute to, that one?
REM.
REM, okay.
Yeah. And there's also the If I Were a Carpenter that has like Sonic Youth on it. Like that one's pretty good. Carpenter's tribute. And I was just grabbing some. Mike just saved a record in my pile, so that now he reminded me with this, so I had to pull. I saved one record from the pile to pull another one, but I also have the Shonen Knife tribute. Every band has a Shonen Knife Who Loves Them that has Government Issue and White Flag on it. That one's pretty good.
Experience.
And Sean and Life
And
were
Mr.
on-
T Experience, yeah, it's on that one. So
you posted
Sean
about
and
that
Life-
record.
Sorry, I'm talking over you.
Oh, Kevin, I apologize. I keep jumping over you. Go ahead.
Jan Ken.
Oh, Sean and Knife are on that Carpenter's tribute too.
right.
Oh, nice.
Yep, there you go. Then now once I started thinking about this topic, I was like, yeah, there must be some good ones out there because there's thousands of them. But now you're getting like ones like punk tribute to the Rolling Stones, punk tribute to AC/DC, and there's another Motorhead one about to come out with like Rancid and stuff on it, right? Which is obviously going to be horrific. We don't want to hear that. But Kevin,
One that I love was the Virus 100 on Alternative Tentacles.
I was actually going to mention that, and I actually have it, and I was going to kind of show it as one that I loved that when it came out. I thought it was really inventive, and a lot of the bands did something interesting, right, with their codes.
Absolutely, yeah. Like No Means No, doing the a cappella, and Napalm Death with the Nazi Punks.
Yeah,
F off.
Beatnik Termites, Ramones tribute album, Pleasant Dreams.
No, there isn't any love for that.
No, not even me,
I mean-
where you'd think it would come from, but no.
But not just that, like that entire, I know that Ramones series with like Screeching Weasel and Boris the Sprinkler and the Vindictives, and like the Vindictives one though is actually really good. They changed the whole record to sound like Devo.
Somebody showed that on the show and said how good it was actually.
But and it's nothing against the Beatnik Termites or the Ramones. It's just like, come on, man.
But it's funny though, when I started kind of looking this up, you know what? It's one of those things like it happened to Paul, like the Sex Pistols thing come up. Post Regiment, Polish band who I love. Post Regiment. I just saw literally this morning. There's a Post Regiment tribute album coming out, and I'm like, wow, I kind of like to hear that one, because I love Post Regiment, but I'm not sure. Yeah, great band, but. Basically, the tribute album, nah. No, thanks. We don't.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. But like I said, it must be fun for the bands. But I can't see any. Does anybody like play these things like more than once,
I don't know. I got given a copy of the Amoebics tribute on Crust War, and I played that once and was like, oh my lord.
Well, I actually had that as a note because I was involved in putting that out. I'm guilty of making that happen because I was the go-between between the Japanese bands and the Baron. Imagine what a Herculean task that was. I'm kind of like,
I got us to do a translation, but I turned it down. I was just like, no, that's too much. Yeah,
the Japanese tribute to Amoebics is, and I'm saying this as someone who helped birth that into the world. There's a Balkans one too. I haven't heard that, but yeah, nah, no thanks. But yeah, dealing with the Baron and all the Japanese bands as a go-between for like 3 years to make that happen. Was it worth it?
Was it?
No, it wasn't. All right, Paul, what's your next?
Oh gosh. Well, so this record I'm about to show, this is my third copy of it because I kept getting it, listening to it, and getting rid of it. And I was on tour with a band in the mid-late 90s, and we played a show at a house in Atlanta. And there was this band from northern New York State, that had their van covered in stickers of this band. They loved this band so much that I felt like I had to get this band's record again, give it another shot.
Okay.
This was the first band I wrote down when Mike brought this idea of this record up, of this show up, as to things that maybe you don't hate, but you just don't appreciate as much as others do. And I do want to say, like, before I show this has been showed on the show as being some people's favorite record. or something that I love. And so before I show it, I just want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you and anybody who's had to deal with this record. Uniform choice.
Amazing.
I'm not a fan of this record. I know Ebro was on here. Love Ebro to death. He was, and I think Mike, you like this record. There's
I do.
Like it. I just cannot get into it. My second favorite part of the record is the last song on the second side when they start the poem of "When There's Silence." I was like, about time, but then he keeps talking, so it actually doesn't. My wish doesn't come for like another minute. I don't know. This is, I guess, mid 80s terrific hardcore to a lot of people. It's just never lit that fire for me.
Is it the vocals?
I think it's, I think that I like the second record better.
I like
not the recording of it, but I like the music on it a lot better.
Amazing. I like that one too.
It just feels like I don't like it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I have I can't articulate it any more than it's just not hitting that key thing that makes me want to be straight or not, or stand up or slouch or cry once or not at all.
But it's like Sunset Strip, Minor Threat, right? It even sounds like they're all high on cocaine, like to me, even on that record.
Like even the song "Screaming for Change," I just think of like a guy just asking for change, not like he wants actual change. Right. Big man, small mind. It's just, I don't know, just too reminiscent of some of that minor thready stuff.
I once had a great idea. We should do this, actually. We should do this. The poem. I had an idea that I would get all of my friends around the world to recite the poem in a style of like their choosing, and we would upload them to the internet, and it will be a database of people all around the world reciting the poem. It's not a bad idea. Someone's going to steal it now that I've mentioned it. But
there was a point in time when I would fast forward this cassette and then skip the record just to that, just because that was the only thing that I felt was interesting on the record.
I think Tony, you like that record, right, Tony?
Well, here's the deal. I didn't know where to go next because, Mike, you put me off onto one path that I'll have to just touch on a little later. Okay. Because in my pile is this record, which I also do not like. I don't want to. I don't know if I should. I don't want to take over too hard here, but let me just say
go ahead.
That this falls into a different category of, I hate the music of this particular band. It falls into a different category of tribute record to maybe a band I hate or uselessness of it or whatever. This falls into the category of I like another record by the band so much more that this record gets 0 plays. And it just feels lame to me in comparison to the other records. And so then it just sits here, unplayed all the time because I play this record, which is probably somebody else's least favorite record.
We talked about that. Blood Days, right?
But Unity Blood Days, which I think is a perfect record. And I think it smokes this record. And therefore, this record never gets played, and this record gets played all the time. So, that's the reason. I would
give you the biggest fucking hug in the world right
now. Computer hug.
Beautiful. Oh, this is so much fun. We're having a great time, right?
Just having a great time smashing each other's dreams.
I just forgot that people were watching. Simon, the comments.
I can't even. I have to say, I'm so blind that anytime there's a comment that you post up, Mike, I have to go like this. So everybody knows when I'm reading the comments because I'm too far away from my computer. I can't see them.
Tony, do you have our next pick?
Technically, it was uniform choice since I just did. But you know what? We'll skip it because Mike, you did remind me, and this is like one of those things when you forgot that it was a hard, that we weren't doing hard rock or whatever. I was just like, because I was like, until I reread it, I was like, oh, I'm pulling out.
Yeah, I just didn't want people coming in and like, well, I don't like this Red Hot Chili Peppers record. So it's like,
sure,
let's
of
keep
course,
it
of
like
course.
Possible, right?
But Mike, you reminded me. I completely forgot that one of like 2 tribute records I have is Hard to Believe, a Kiss covers compilation, which is what we're looking at here. And as I mentioned during the Sex Pistols spiel, Kiss is one of my all-time least favorite bands.
I hate them as well.
I really don't like them. And generally, when people talk about liking Kiss, my response is grow up and listen to Cheap Trick like an adult. And fucking, you know what I mean? Like, but I will say, double whammy here. It is definitely a time and a place thing for people that were my age or older, that they were around and wanted something cool before punk really fully existed or came into their lives. And so I understand, you know what I mean? Just because I fucking hate them, you know what I mean? I absolutely understand that people were just like, Kiss was just it until we heard the Sex Pistols. And I'm just like, well, man, maybe third time will be the try. But, like that's, but,
aren't the hard-ons on this?
And so this is the deal, right?
Okay.
And that's the other painful thing about this is that Kiss is like my favorite band's favorite band. So it's painful because, this compilation, why I own it, period, why there's any music in this house. I will say my favorite Kiss song is The Replacements covering Black Diamond. You know what I mean? But that's like the only other Kiss music in my house is this. And the hard-ons are on it.
Is it Rock and Roll All Night?
The hard-ons do Lick It Up, which is actually kind of amazing, kind of trolling, even when they're not totally trolling. Nirvana do You Love Me? Chemical People do Rip It Out, and I love the Chemical People. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Rip It Out. That's a really solo track, though, right?
Solo track, yeah. Melvin's. Why do I know that though? Just because I own a record store, But Melvin's do God of Thunder, and
they did Going Blind on the later album, didn't they?
What's that?
They covered Going Blind as well on.
And they have those records, the Melvin's 3 records that are like the Kiss solo records, like the same paintings or whatever. But I mean, and then there's like King Snake Roost, this band Hullabaloo from Boston, which like probably should be discussed at some point if you were like to make a most annoying, not bad or good, just like wildly crazy, I don't know. Anyway, Hullabaloo from Boston are fucking insane. The guy plays a bugle.
Shock, right?
I think so. The guy plays a bugle, and like just in the middle of the songs, like the bugle will just like, I don't know. It's like you can't. It's like I don't love it or hate it. I just respect it for like just sheer. It's almost like it's almost like that band, the Happy Flowers, which I kind of do love. Also, it's just like music made to drive people completely insane. Hullabaloo's like that. But anyway, it's not even really about the bands on this compilation. It's just that I fucking need an excuse to talk about how much I don't like Kiss. And and again, it's sad because like, again, some of my favorite bands, all day long, they love Kiss. And if they heard me saying these words, they would admonish me and I would crawl into a little hole and die. But
this is an interesting topic, though. I think like the American like punk and hardcore connection to Kiss and how many people in those bands love Kiss is kind of fascinating to me. I guess they grew up listening to Kiss when they were kids, and it's kind of like,
and I mean, that's
Deep Purple for like UK bands, right? I've heard with like Lee Dorian.
And again,
listening to
that's the thing. That's why I'm not shitting on anybody for this one. It's just they're a couple years older than me, and punk wasn't around, or they just didn't discover it yet. So therefore, Kiss was the toughest and coolest and craziest looking thing. And if you also like horror movies and comic books, which I do, by the way, it's just it all kind of fits together, and I can totally understand people loving them. It's just, for me, coming at it in reverse, which is the same thing that happened with the Sex Pistols. I was just like, man, I don't like any of these people. I don't like, and it could come up again in another pick, but like, some of the people that would like bully you in school for being like into punk, those are people that also like Kiss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So just, kind of a bad, connection of things or whatever. Plus, I just don't like any of the songs again, except for the fucking Replacements covering Black Diamond is okay. But
I think there was probably a massive amount of money behind promoting Kiss as well as a brand first. And so it could have been other bands, but it just happened to be them.
I vote we stop talking about Kiss.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Kevin, have you got another?
I haven't. No.
All right. No. Okay.
Honestly,
no. Okay. Then, in that case,
can I just say one last quick thing about Kiss? Always just
it's your fault, Mike. You brought up the tribute album,
and it wasn't, and it's not just about Kiss, but it has to tie in with like what Tony said about, and it kind of goes into that hair metal period of like the 80s and 90s, where like the high school bullies like worship these guys who took like 3 hours to get ready. Like I don't get it. It was really weird, right? Like,
wasn't like that in the UK. Like our group that are into like heavy rock and stuff, we were the cool dudes, the mellow dudes who weren't like that at all. It didn't like sports. Total opposite. Total.
And I should say, I mean, I have to say, I was, I missed the entire punk thing until like 1988. So from 1985 to 1987, all I did was see Twisted Sister and Dokken and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. That's like, that was my entire life. Even then I didn't like Kiss. That's all. I don't know. So, but then when I turned, when I got more into punk, it just seemed like, those guys were like, more like school bullies, I guess.
Kevin, okay.
So
I was gonna like not put you on the spot, but because you don't have anything, I was gonna ask you to sort of just name or say one like punk band or record that you really don't like, even though you don't own it.
One punk band one punk record that I don't like.
And you don't own.
Oh my goodness, that is putting me on the spot.
Really?
Yeah. No, but I did have a cultural question, because you were discussing the idea of like the Kiss bands being kind of... No, I won't mention, because it could have been any metal band, right, or any hard rock band. But Mike, in growing up in England, was there a big divide when you were in school between, like, say, the people that like metal and the people like punk?
There was only one.
No, and I haven't really heard about that until I listened to
no, because there was only one person in my school who liked punk, and he was my mate Steve, and he introduced me to punk, and so we were best friends. And we discovered that like the stuff that I liked, like Motorhead and Tank, and stuff like that, wasn't that different to like GBH. So we had a moment one day where we were like, mate, yes, mate. But this stuff all kind of sounds similar, doesn't it? And so we were like, punk and metal are kind of the same. We were like 15 or 14, so
right. But there's like a big divide culturally, or at least there used to be, I think, in the US, where it was like the metalheads kind of were against the punks and vice versa, and I never really kind of could wrap my head around that, because I never experienced that.
Oh yeah, when I left school, that did happen, but being attending a posh private boarding school, we didn't have such problems. But hey, I tell you what though, this one does kind of tie into what we're talking about. So good question. So going back to like me growing up as a teenager in England, like being into heavy metal and then discovering punk through this guy Steve that we've just talked about, people like naturally assume that I love all things metal punkish from the UK from the mid 80s. People just, of course, he's going to love Concrete Socks. No, he doesn't love Concrete Socks. I don't own a Concrete Socks except the split with Heresy, so I can't show that. Especially these days, I think they're so boring. It's just unlistenable to me. It's like these punks who heard Metallica, and kind of try and no riffs, just very boring songs. Concrete Socks. He probably likes Axe Grinder. No, he doesn't like Axe Grinder. Amoebics, yes. Onslaught, yes. This band I was most fearful of showing on this episode. And
safe space. This is a safe space.
I've left it for. I thought Hazel was going to join us tonight, and I'm pretty sure Hazel likes this band. And I know, in fact, I posted this record in the Facebook group, What You're Listening To, and it got like so much love. And I was like, I didn't make a comment. I just posted the record with no comment about it. And people were just like, oh yeah, great band, love this record, one of the best from the UK. And I was just like looking at these comments thinking, no. Sorry.
People you're no longer friends with.
The band I'm talking about is, and the funny thing is, I just bought this because I found it like super cheap. It's super cheap, and it's a twofer. It's a twofer of their first 2 albums on Manic Ears Records.
I'm getting scared.
Getting scared. Twofer of like their 2 albums on, and it was just sat there, and it was like 800 yen. And then I kind of looked up on Discogs, and I thought, good deal. Let's give this band. It's time to take a fresh look at this band. So I did, and it sounds even worse to me now than it did then.
I love it. Oh man,
are you ready? Civilized Society.
Okay,
sure.
Question mark. Again, I don't like bands with like, what do you call these things? Question marks, exclamation marks. I don't like that. But that's not why I don't like this band. Okay. This band is like ex-Instigators. It's got Hammy, who's in the Instigators. They have 3 freaking vocalists. That's not why I don't like them. It's so boring. It's like, it's this certain age of people who kind of grew up with anarcho-punk. I think Hammy and stuff, they're about the same age as me, like late 50s. So they grew up with all the great anarcho-punk. And then they kind of got into metal at some point. So this is sort of like a stab at kind of mixing those 2 things together. And the results are disastrous to my pair of ears that I was born with. And I just do not get it. And I did discover that in like 1986 and 1987 they had the technology to put 3 hours of music on one side of a record. I think that that's a way of saying it's fucking long, and it sounds even longer. It's like, and I think that technology was outlawed in 1988.
Thank God for that. It was merciful.
Is that
But it's just like
cover?
the riffs are not good. Like the riffs suck. It's like this plodding, depressing. Like this record does not make me want to smash the state and throw a brick through a butcher's window like a record like this. It just makes me want to go and take a nap under a tree. It's like it's gloomy and boring, and it kind of meanders around, and it's that the vocal melodies are horrible. It's like dun, 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 dun. Like, when it's done in like the original anarcho-punk, it works. When it's like beefed up and it's more metally, those 2 things like don't work well. Too sophisticated. This is like the least sophisticated record. Like, it's just boring metal riffs and like horrible like Paul, go ahead.
The cover of that, is that like the original cover? Or is that a new cover?
This is the cover they put on for this like twofer reissue. I kind of like the cover.
Yeah, I do too. I would have bought it for the cover.
Exactly. I think I was fooled by maybe
It looks like the movie Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
I'm transported
and
back
it
to
even
that.
says the writing is on the wall. This double LP is called You were warned. Yes, I was, and I didn't pay attention, and I still bought it. But you know, it's what are the records called? Scrap Metal and Violent Sucks to the what the records, the standalone records were called. But it just seems they go on forever, just bad metal riffs mixed with like boring anarcho.
When you say like metal riffs, are they just like slowly chugging multiple strings, or are they like doing like?
It's like it's not like
punching it out outside of there. Yeah.
I think like this record probably sounded more metal then than it did now, because everyone was like, all these bands are going metal, you know, like. And when you listen to it now, it's actually not that metal, but at the time, it sounded like super metal to people, right? I can't be doing with it. I just can't be doing with it, and it's just a dull snooze fest for the whole 4 sides. There you go. civilized society.
I appreciate that you like doubled down, like you got it. You listened to all 4 sides.
Yeah, so you know,
really, that's commitment.
Commitment, right? The things I do for this show. But I do know that a lot of people love this band. Like, you know, Hammy was in the Instigators, and then he formed Peaceful Records,
Kiss,
and then went on to be a big music mogul. And there's lots of stories about Peaceful Records. This is not about Peaceful Records. This is about this like civilized society record that
It's interesting because the Instigators are absolutely incredible. Like nobody sounds anything like them really. You can't really compare them with any other kind of punk band, especially
what's the link there?
You know,
I'm one of these weirdos though that likes the later Instigators with Andy Turner when they went to America and got really rock and roll. I love that era of Instigators. I don't like the earlier. Phoenix is good. That's Andy Turner too. But the pre-Phoenix stuff with Hammy singing, I think he was singing. Not so keen on. But see,
where were they from in English? Was it Shrewsbury?
Dewsbury.
Dewsbury. Okay.
Rhymes with Shrewsbury. Literally the only town in England that rhymes with Shrewsbury is Dewsbury.
I was so close.
Yes. There you go. And yeah, there you go. Yep, there you go. All right, Paul, what's your next pick?
Oh my golly, my next pick. I'm glad Artie's not on here for this because I think that he would probably different me. He'd be upset by this pick. I feel like lots of my New York friends are going to disown me for this. I feel like there is a contingent of hardcore straight edge friends of mine that are not gonna like what I have to say, but I feel like this record is just growling raw meat. I feel like it's a little bit just purposeless and pretty vague throughout the whole thing. Like there are a couple standout tracks, but again, it's like the standout tracks make it better? Do they elevate it? And this is one of those things that I used to have on cassette and then record and then cassette again and getting rid of it and picking it back up. And I don't hate it, but of the records that came out in New York City, compilation records at this time, this is my least favorite of all of them.
Oh my God.
It's just kind of dull to me. Like some of the vocals on some of the stuff just sounds like it's people fighting over a piece of raw meat. And I think like just some of the songs were like just afterthoughts. Some of the recordings later went on to be on other things and sounded better. I've never been really a fan of like Bold or Youth of Today, and these are like the worst tracks of those on here. I apologize to all of my friends because I know this was like this like people anchored themselves to this, and like this is their ballast point for how they lived their lives. Yeah, I guess I live differently.
Isn't that the one that has like Nausea and Youth Defense League on it?
Yep. Yep. But like Where the Wild Things Are, I could listen to that back to back to back to back to back to back, like until like Look at the Children Now, like everything around this era I liked, but for some reason this got a lot of hype, and I feel like maybe because it was on Revelation, I have no idea. I really have no idea, and I have no excuse as to why I don't like it, other than just that I don't. And Tony, this might be one of your favorite records, really? Or...
It's not. It falls into the category of something else. I think we might have different reasons for feeling these similar feelings, right? Like we felt the same about the Uniform Choice record, but perhaps for slightly different reasons. You know what I mean? Right. Like I don't actually hate the Uniform Choice record. I just like the other one so much more. That one never gets played. This New York hardcore record falls into the category. We'll get to it when we get to it. But like, right. I mean, it's got some tracks, but like, does it really hold up? Is it more of a, I mean, not to get into my spiel, but like, is it more of a perfectly graphic designed record than it is a listenable record? You know what I mean? Like it's cool looking, you know? And again, if that's the first, if you got that before getting some other comps, you would want to base your entire identity, you know what I mean? Maybe on, it's so, I mean, there's so much cool shit happening on the cover that, yeah, the tracks should be a little bit better than they actually are, you know. Probably.
So I did get this before I got a lot of those other comps.
Yeah.
And I was always like, man, this is what, because I live in Michigan, right? So I was pretty far away from this. So, like you being on the East Coast, that you're more familiar with these things as they're happening in real time than I was, right? I have to.
I mean, it was when that record was, when that record was being released, I was literally seeing King Diamond and Slayer. I was drug free, but I did not know what straight edge was. So yeah, I didn't discover that record until like a year or so later. My friend Greg Brown, you know, he had the poster, like and I have his poster of that record, you know, nice. But he had that poster on his wall, and he would just be like, I know who every person on this poster is, and he would just name every person, like, you know, that's in that dog pile, like on the cover or whatever. Yeah. So it was somewhat influential to me. I like that record, but I absolutely understand where you're coming from, you know, with it for sure. So
I think if I had to pull out so if I had to pull out Look at the Children Now, Where the Wild Things Are, the Free for All comp, and this would be my number 4. And that Free for All, that live record, is really great. I think it captures more of like just maybe what this was trying to go for. And then the other ones have, well, of course, different bands and different semi like congruently at the same timeline, but
that's funny. Like Andy Lefton, who is more of a Minneapolis sort of crust kind of guy, he showed Free for All on the show when he came on, and he's like, "Yeah, this is my favorite, like, you know, New York hardcore compilation." So pretty interesting. Hawker Records, right? Hawker Records.
Yeah.
I mean, Free for All. I like Token Entry more than almost every single band on. You know what I mean? I like Jaybird more than like almost every New York hardcore record ever. So yeah, I mean, just the Token Entry tracks on that, like, you know, kind of put it closer to my heart than some of those other comps. But yeah,
dude, when they break, when there's talking and the lights are, come on, man, nuts. Like, yeah. It's a great record, but you can hear the energy in all of that. And since I got this before all of those other comps, I listened to it back to front, and again. And maybe the other comps that I had at the time that I was listening to, the Flex Your Head and some of that, like this just didn't have the same earnestness. I don't know what it was, and still don't know what it is, because it's still held in such regard by people I love, who might not love me as much anymore after they see this tomorrow. But I mean, I guess that's where we are with this episode. Sorry, Grandma, no money.
Breaking hearts
this year.
Yeah. Breaking people's hearts around and around.
That's what we do on this show.
All right, Tony. Kevin.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save my. I'll save my close one for the next one, because I've been doing too much. The last couple that I did, I was doing a lot of apologizing.
Don't apologize.
for the fans of the bands, and I feel that way. I feel like, you know, it's okay to like those bands, whatever. But I saved this one for, this is the no apologies.
Okay.
This is the, if you like this music, you're a bad person, you know, style. Like, it's just so shitty, and it pains me. It pains me so bad that I own music by this band in my collection that I actually took a knife and sliced. It's a split single, of course, and so I actually cut the other side so it's never playable, so that when I die and somebody looks through my records, they'll go, "Oh, okay, I see. It's okay. He just hated this shit."
Right now,
You know
dude,
what I mean?
Scary
So,
Pickle.
can you guys figure it out?
No.
It is
Any more clues?
there's a lot of pain in owning this record. One, it's a record store day record. Two, it's a fucking split single. And three, the band on the flip side is fucking Pantera. But
Oh, I did.
but because I collect every Poison Idea single, I have to own it. But it pains me to own it at the same time. So it's like I'm, you know, it's a war inside my head, as both Suicidal Tendencies and Intense Degree would say. So I have to.
You've redeemed yourself with that, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I have to own it because it's a Poison Idea record, but I'm pained beyond belief to own it because it's a Pantera record. And it's just like, shit, man. It's just such bad music for just terrible, terrible people. Again, just the band members are terrible. The people that like them are terrible. The music is terrible. They were terrible when they were a hair metal band. They were terrible when they were a fake hardcore band. They're terrible today.
They'll be terrible tomorrow.
They'll be terrible, terrible fucking tomorrow. It's just upsetting. I almost don't even.
Can we see the damage that you
cut side? Well, it's a purple record, so it's hard to. I don't know if it's visible or not here. My lighting in here is kind of bad.
Oh.
See if
we
have it.
We believe you. We believe you.
Yeah, it's cut pretty bad, and I even cut this part. Sorry, you can maybe see the knife marks over Pantera's logo. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's been cut, and then the record is cut, so the flip is unplayable. You know,
yeah, I wonder, like,
really,
how much,
really...
like, okay, so I wonder, like, how much, you know, okay, did Jerry and Poison Idea, like, approve this, or was it just, like, put out by the record company?
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%, because, well, I mean, I don't know. First of all, I believe the cover happened because it's on the Crow soundtrack.
Yes, that's right.
First of all.
Yeah.
And, you know, secondly, I mean, look, no fucking, you know, disrespect to Poison Idea. They're a band that, like, all of a sudden one of their songs is covered by a very popular band.
Right.
And then, you know, what I am sure that benefited them fucking wildly, and I would never besmirch Poison Idea getting its fucking due. You know what I mean? Like, no matter who fucking covered them, right?
Like, I didn't know how much money they got from that, but I heard, and I think this is true, that Charlie Harper from UK Subs was able to buy a house in London from the royalties they got when Guns N' Roses covered, like, Down on the Farm or whatever it was.
Yeah. I am pretty positive that, like, that the money that comes from, like, a very popular, and in this case, it's not just that Pantera is a popular band, right? It's on a major motion picture soundtrack, which means like people, people that just bought that fucking Crow soundtrack probably discovered fucking Pantera that way. And again, this is just like another situation, right? This is like, what time do you discover things? You know what I mean? Like, you know, not everybody knew who the fuck Poison Idea was before whatever year the Crow movie came out. And they were directly led to them by Pantera covering the song, you know? So I don't know, I'm getting into apology territory. Fucking Pantera.
You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
I have a question. I have a question. Is the Pantera side a cover of a Poison Idea?
Yeah, they cover the badge.
And then Poison Idea covered the Pantera song.
No,
or they did their own song.
The way, so just to get into some more hated shit, for a while, Record Store Day would do a series of records called Side by Side, and it was just, exactly, yep, and more power to him, of course, Jordan. Yeah, so this series was called Side by Side, and they would just take through history bands covering other bands. So it would just be the original on one side and the cover on the flip. And there's a million of them, or there's like
okay. So it
20 there's
wasn't
like
like Poison Idea. It wasn't like Poison Idea. It was all of a sudden like, wait, we got to cover who? Like, what's this?
No.
What's
Yeah,
Cowboys
no.
from Hell? Like,
Yep.
we gotta fucking do what?
Right. One side is just the Poison Idea version of the badge, and then the flip is just the Pantera version of the badge.
Okay.
And there's a million of these. There's like a Ramon. I mean, again, I collect every Ramones single, so there's like a Ramones one. I can't remember who's on the flip of that one.
But I love.
There's
that.
a bunch of.
I love the idea that like, of all of those, or maybe the idea until I don't like the idea anymore, is that Poison Idea did not have to learn like a Pantera song. They could just be like, "What?
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
we'll take the
yeah. And listen, I mean, again,
Kevin,
the members of that band might have a totally different vibe. You know what I mean? They might be totally fine. This is just my vibe because I don't know, because I thought the people that I knew that like this band are bad people and I hate the music and I hate the vibe. But, they just might have still, who for all I know, look, that Crow soundtrack is still in print. Like, I have copies of that at the store. They could still be getting a fucking check from that. They should be. You know what I mean? So they're, the band's opinion, might just be, hey, fuck it, I'm still getting a check, and I would not besmirch that. Just that, man, what a bad fucking band. That's all. Sorry.
So Feel the Darkness came out in 1990.
Yep.
And The Crow was filmed, I think, well, it came out in the theaters 1996. So I'm always dubious. I mean, it's like 1990, that's only 6 years later. I mean, at that point, is it really a cover, or is it just basically ripping off somebody else's song, presenting it as your own? I'm sure they legally had to present it as, acknowledge that it was like kind of Poison Ideas contractually. But I think there are a lot of people that think that the badge is a Pantera song.
Those people
Maybe and listen, this is something that I can't speak to exactly. Somebody in the comments probably knows. But I feel like the Crow soundtrack is many covers. It's like it might even be every one of them might be a cover. I can't remember. Somebody covers like Joy Division, Dead Souls. Like I think
there's 9 Inch Nails. I think, yeah.
There's a 9 Inch Nail. Yeah. So I think actually that whole record might be covers. And then it would be even more, potentially obvious to like people that it was a cover. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, there's certainly, again, my backpedaling self. I'm like, there's definitely covers that I heard that I didn't know that that there was a band, that it happens. And again, it's just where you're born, how old are you?
This is kind of before the internet was a thing as well, right? I mean, really.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a little grating because Pantera is just so extra annoying to me. You know what I mean? It could have been almost anybody else, and
they're almost the antithesis band of Poison Idea.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing, right? They're oblivious to that. The members of Pantera, they don't think they are. They think
right. And
they have no fucking, they have no fucking clue. So,
all right, Kevin, like.
Yeah, well, okay. Just to preface this, I absolutely love Parliament, and I love Funkadelic and groove-laden bands with pure groove and bass, slap bass. I mean, that's fine for Parliament, Funkadelic, but when it kind of inches its way into punk and hardcore, it's quite cringeworthy, even metal. But, punk, hardcore, it's even worse. And I've got one here. I'm not sure why I still own this album. Just a bit of glare. But I've never really understood this one at all. And Mike asked me earlier, can you think of an album that I don't like? Yeah, I would have to say it would be this one. Maybe I need to listen to it again a few times with more mature ears, but it just completely fell flat until the Funky Chicken started happening, and then it got even worse. New Red Archives came out, I believe, 1990 or 1991. 1991.
Let's,
you know,
Kevin, hold it up again. That's like Christ
Yeah.
on a Crutch, and I forget the name of the title of the record. Christ on a Crutch. Is it Crime Pays When Pigs Die or something like that? Is that what it's
yes, it is.
called? Okay, there you go.
And here's the back.
I haven't listened to that record for ages. I don't remember it being funky. Maybe is it funky? Is there a lot of slap bass on it?
I'm not sure. Maybe Tony can weigh in on it, like a little bit more.
No, I've never heard that one. Yeah,
Right.
I recognize the cover right away, but I've never listened.
Paul,
to that one, so
actually, I feel like Paul. Like,
hang on,
Paul, what are we thinking about Christ on a Crutch? Any thoughts?
Okay, so is this good or bad?
Bad, according to Kevin.
according to me.
I think Christ on a Crutch has some amazing songs. Amazing, top of the pile, top-notch songs. Like the one on the State of the Union comp, fucking great. Things I Stole, 7-inch comp, great. A couple songs on that are great too, but they kind of fell off here and there, got a little mayhemy. So, direct answer to your question, I like that band a lot, but I like them for the songs that they did very, very well. Pushes them higher here than the ones that are just mediocre.
Right. It's what's his name, isn't it? It's one of the. Is it Nate who went on to be in Foo Fighters, right? Is in that band.
Yeah, well, some of those songs that he did that took over into Christ on a Crutch were like these diddly squat songs.
Oh,
and those
God,
are the ones that are totally. They've got a couple demos and stuff out that I've been searching for forever. Kevin, do you have any? You want to send them up to the?
No, I mean, this is the only Christ on the Crutch that I heard, and you know, I think I've listened to it like 3 times and owned it for about 25 years. But it's just one of those albums that I can kind of do without. And actually, Tony, if you do want to hear it, I'll send it to you mid-email for free. I need to make space for more records. Honestly, yeah.
On the B side, there's that song called like Hope or something like that. It's a very just like 4/4 straight driving song, but it's very memorable, very hooky, just like a great thundering punk song.
I think like the thing we're sort of focusing on here is funk and slap bass in punk. It's our sort of, but that's what we're hating on mostly, right?
Oh, are we?
Well, I'm not because the Turning Point LP is the greatest slap bass hardcore of all time. I wish there was more. I wish it was on every song on that record, but yeah, that's just me. I love the Turning Point LP.
There you go.
I gave that record to my buddy Derek Kenny in Philly. When I got it, I was like, oh my God, this is unlistenable to me. So I gave that Turning Point record to him. But now I think that like my head, maybe I just didn't understand it and I need to go back. Because today when I was walking my dog, I got all of those, the first Faith No More record song in my head. Like, we care a lot and all that shit. It was just like booming. Horrible. But I love all of those songs.
To be fair, the Turning Point record with the slap bass it's over thought of. It's literally on like one song for like 6 seconds. It's just, and it's very tasteful. it's very tasteful.
Tasteful slap bass.
It is very tasteful slap bass. It could be more. There could be 10 times as much slap bass on that record and I would still love it. But I think people think of it as having more than it actually does. If you listen to the record, it's just a straight hardcore record. He just gets a little wild in a place or two. And
so here's the thing about, I think
it's tasteful.
I think it's fine. I think that if you're gonna, I think that there's this idea around slap bass versus hardcore, right? And I think that idea is that when you hear slap bass, you want to like groove. But there's no grooving in hardcore. There's only smashing things. So how can you groove and smash?
I don't know. I think Sick of It All has a little bit of groove.
All right.
Oh, Fire Hose.
I mean,
Minutemen,
yeah,
Yeah,
Fire
Fire Hose, the
Minutemen.
Minutemen, like
Face value, flu slappy moments.
I'll say this on there's a doggy style record.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, there's The Last Laugh, which is like, but the crazy thing about that record is it's like some of the worst offenders like going straight to slap bass jail for like most of that record. But like each side of that record has like one song on it that sounds like an outtake from like Dag Nasty, and it's incredible. And just
100%.
it's just, I don't know what the deal is, just like one song on each side, and then the rest of it's just like absolutely ridiculous circus funk. It's like brutal, but then just one song on each side. I want to put them together on a 7-inch and have that 7-inch and not the LP. But
I would like to see like the parallels between like Doggy Style, Faith No More, and Red Hot Chili Peppers coming up kind of together, like fighting for stage value, like jumping like. I want to be in Penelope Spears' next movie and like jumping over each other.
I mean, just to wrap it up before Mike gets mad that we keep saying slap bass.
I will say Sublime.
I will say no, fuck, man, no. Big Chief, the dudes from the Necros.
Yeah.
When they became Big Chief, they just randomly made a blaxploitation soundtrack LP called Mac Avenue Skull Game that is like incredible. I mean, I really like it. And it's just nothing but like funk groove. I saw them on that tour. No.
Like if the Necros were doing like, you'd be like, what? This isn't about like whatever Necros.
But even the first couple of Big Chief records weren't like that. It was like they took a hard turn and were just like, wouldn't it be funny if we made like a straight up funk, blaxploitation soundtrack album? So even forgetting that it's Barry Hensler, it's still a hard left turn, even based on Big Chief itself. So, but
I think they did it easier because they were in that field of folks, like with the Hyenas and with those people who were on the Touch and Go, and they're like, oh, you want to bring in a trumpet or a cello? Like, yeah, let's whatever band we have, let's dial it up.
Yep.
All right.
So anyway, Christ on a Crutch, I like them.
Christ.
Do you want an extra copy, Paul? I'll send it to you.
You just promised it to Tony.
I'm in the US.
Okay.
All right. Round 4. Not a punk band, but an honorary punk band. Every punk probably likes this band. 22 or 24 studio albums, depending on how you count them. I like or love every single one of them, except this absolute stinker. I only have it in the house because if I don't have it in the house, my collection of all the studio albums will be incomplete. So I have to have it. And we'll get to this. It's a funny story. It was a day of mixed emotions. I'm talking about Motorhead. People might, I've often said that Motorhead are my favorite band. There's one absolute stinker in their catalog. Came out in 1992 on Epic Records. March or Die. It's like a $300 record these days. It sucks. I have nothing good to say about it. Tony came to my house one day and said he had a present for me, and he unfurled a massive Motorhead poster, and it was a promo poster for this record.
Not on purpose.
The emotions.
I didn't know your feelings. I didn't know. I wasn't like.
It was a fun day of like mixed emotions, but like this record sucks. It's their second major label record after 1916. They got kicked off of Epic after this. There is no energy. It's like, man, you're in trouble when track 2 is a cover of Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever. Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever, and it's worse than the original. I actually like the original. Loved it as a kid. That version has way more energy than the Motorhead version. Second, Hellraiser. Horrible song. There's 2 versions. One with Lemmy, and then there's another one with Ozzy singing. It's like awful, like.
Wait, on the same record? They're both songs are on there?
No, the Motorhead one is on this, but there's also an Aussie version that you can get.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Somewhere else. I forget where, but
soundtrack too, right, Mike?
on the soundtrack.
I mean, soundtrack for Hellraiser, right? It's like
Yes, yeah,
meant to be
just
from
a
the movie.
horrible like early 90s. Actually, it's kind of funky. Actually, just horrible like glammy Sunset Strip monstrosity of a song. And then this is the point where he's starting to get guests in. It's the era where, okay, let's get some guests in. So you got Ozzy singing like this, I ain't no nice guy, like a insipid ballad. Slash from the aforementioned Guns N' Roses. We don't need Slash in Motorhead. Get out of the studio. We don't need your hat, your hair, and your guitar. Motorhead have good guitar players. We don't need you. Get back to, don't. And then there's other guests on here too that I can't be bothered to mention. And then what else do I hear about this record? Motorhead, known for its title tracks: Ace of Spades, Overkill, Bomber, Motorhead, Orgasmatron. I could go on. The title track on this could be the worst Motorhead song of all time. It's like a drumless, horrible dirge that I never ever want to hear again. And I love a lot of kind of Motorhead records that other people think are bad, like Hammered, Overnight Sensation, Motorizer. Those are masterpieces when put up against this absolute embarrassment of a record. Mickey D's on the drums, but actually Mickey D doesn't even drum all of it. It's like the guy, it's what's his name?
Travis Barker.
Not him. Not him. It's what's his name, man? The guy from him with the hair from Blois, from like I'm forgetting, man. I should have written this down. Very famous drummer, who's still alive. Someone tell me in the comments. He's not credited on this record. Tommy Aldridge.
Right.
He drums on most of this record, and he's not keeping the energy levels up. It's plodding, it's boring. Love Motorhead, probably one of my favorite bands of all time. The only reason I keep this is because I have to have all 22 or 24 Motorhead studio records. Never been reissued on vinyl. This is like a $300 record these days.
Really? Well, shit.
Yeah, major label, but maybe kind of limited pressing. But I'm never getting rid of this, even though I hate it.
So you're still on the fence about it, Mike?
there isn't even like a Black Sabbath record that's no, well, let's not get into that. Motorhead, March Will Die. Paul.
Oh shit, me already. First, yes. I want to say I don't own any Motorhead records.
Okay, interesting. Don't start here. That's the only advice I can give.
That's the first one that I was gonna buy. So what if I start there and then just get better from there, like with the ACDC?
It could only get better, right? After.
I also I like that idea that Tony brought up earlier of there's bands that, like, hey, do you like the Beatles? Not really, but I like all of the bands that were influenced by them. Or do you like Led Zeppelin? Not really at all, but I like bands, or that cannot be mentioned but does this. I like bands that were influenced by them, but I don't like those bands. This has nothing to do with my pick, but I like that idea of going back to the core. Like, I don't have to like someone's fucking great grandpa to like what their kids did. You know what I mean? This band I'm going to show is a Chicago band that started off in Texas. I think they only have one good song. People lose their shit over them. Does everybody already know who I'm talking about?
Chicago band originally from Texas.
Yeah. They have some roots in Texas. They got to Chicago. People lose their mind. I think they have one good song. The one good song is great. Like, I love it.
Is the Texas a bit of a red herring? Like, most people wouldn't know that they came from Texas, or?
No, I think if you trace the lineage of the band back, you would. No, I wonder. Hey, somebody in the comments, who am I talking about? The band, their members started in Texas, and now they live in. Well, then they went to Chicago.
Okay.
Oh shit, maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just record labels out of Chicago. I don't know if I'm enough about it.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
I know that they have one good song.
Okay. What's
And
the
that
name of
song
that
is
one
on a
good song?
7-inch.
Okay.
And it's not even on this record I'm going to show, but I just wanted to show
Could you hum a few bars
of that song that I like? Yes!
Wow. There
Yes.
you go.
Band.
That's all it took.
I do not care for this band at all.
Wow.
I think they have one good song that they just keep repeating. And that one good song I don't think was even written until like their third or fourth record. But I just can't get into it. And I try, and I've seen them a ton of times. I don't think there's any.
I'm trying to hug you. I also think they suck. I'm trying to hug you. No good songs.
I think that there's no charm in Dave Yao just being mean to people, and like I think he's just a weird little bully, and I just can't get into it. There are other bands that sound similar that are much better, but I'm just gonna say their one good song, Mouth Breather. I like that song a lot, only because the stops and the starts. I think it has some great drama to that song, but yeah, for the most part.
Did you ever see them live?
Several times.
You did?
Yeah.
What year? What era?
Mid 90s, early mid 90s, and then throughout the 90s. Because I lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and they were. Are they from Chicago? They came to Kalamazoo several times. So,
Right.
Yeah, saw them.
Didn't scratch the itch.
It just didn't. My favorite story about them was in the Rye Coalition, their documentary, and it's Ralphie, the singer from Rye, talking to Dave Yao. It's like, hey, when I was a kid, I was like 15 years old. I snuck into Maxwell's. I came to see you guys, and I thought you were great. And I came up to you and I was like, hey, I think your band is great. And you slapped me in the face. And in this documentary, Dave Yao's like, hey, yeah, what up? And then Dave Yao goes to slap Ralphie, and Ralph just grabs his hand and is like, hey, I'm a man now. Wow. It was just like, fucking, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, that's some bullshit. You know, there's no need
but that was like, I don't know. The cover's great. I'll keep it for the cover. Boilermaker's an all right tune. The song I like isn't even on this record, but and thank you, Tony. I'll go with Shellac. I'll go with some of those.
I love Shellac.
What was that band from Atlanta in the early, like 1979, 80? Not the swimming. Yeah, the Swimming Pool Cues. Like their first 2 7-inches have that vibe of a song, but it just sounds more authentic.
Okay.
Some of the Captain Beefheart stuff or whatever, but anyway.
That might.
I saw them in New Zealand in 1996 at a festival. Like Nick Cave Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and who else were playing? Rage Against the Machine, who were just completely stale and boring and exhausted looking at that point, I think. And Jesus Lizard were absolutely incredible live, and they went over well. They were playing to like 15,000 people, and I think it was perhaps like a different kind of energy with that kind of crowd. But yeah, they were very, very good. I do like the band, but then when I hear about like band members slapping people and pushing people around and things like that, it's
just like Japanese hardcore.
Yep, and we both know a few things about that. We've had our
Right, nice. I didn't expect that. That was a good pick for this show, I will say.
Well, I loved while I was talking about it, like Tony's little the virtual hug. Like,
I felt it deep down too.
The best I can do. I do respect the energy though. The live energy, Jesus Lizard. Yeah. I mean, that he's killing it. I just don't think there's any tunes. That's all. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal,
Tony, you're kidding, right? I know you're kidding.
I knew it was going to be like this. Yeah, I respect the energy, but yeah, just no tunes for me. Just never liked them from the '90s to now. Yeah, just
Mouth Breather's a great song. Like I like that song a lot. But after that, I'm like, can't you just like put a record out with that like 8 times in a row? Because I'd totally buy that.
oh man.
All right, Tony, what's your fourth pick?
Alrighty. Yeah, this is gonna kind of jump back to your New York hardcore comp feelings. And this is another one, like the Uniform Choice, where, and I mean, I should preface this by saying I am a lifelong straight edge nerd. I'm not like I like Youth Crew. I really do. I like Youth of Today. I don't like every record, but like I like, I like that scene. I like those bands. I'm not a straight up hater or anything, but this band is what I refer to as art only. Just like I like the color, I like the cover, I should say, and I like the color scheme. You know what I mean? Like, I like all the photos. I have a giant poster of it. It looks amazing, but it never gets played, much like the Uniform Choice record, because I either want to listen to the Crippled Youth 7-inch, which was them when they were like 14, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I want to listen to the metal era of Bold, Looking Back, which I like more. So that's just a personal choice. I like the 7-inch that follows this, and then when I don't know if they've re-recorded it or remixed all the songs in that era for the Looking Back 12-inch. Those are the records that I want to listen to, either when they're like 15 and playing like 10 times faster than this, or after this when they're just rocking out and like playing all these like ridiculous like metal riffs. But this in the middle, it's just recorded bad. Songs are boring, not as exciting as the photographs or artwork would lead you to believe. Just not an era that I really like. So don't hate Bold. You know what I mean? Like, I like them. I don't even hate this record.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Let it flow through you.
I know. I'm sorry. I do like them. I like them, and I don't even hate this record. It just does not get played because I like what came before and what follows it much more.
That's Speak Out, right? Speak Out, right?
Speak Out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
I'm with you. The same thing is, if you're going to call your band Bold, then it shouldn't sound like the other sort of like 6, 7, 8, 10 bands that you're also associated with.
Yeah.
There's a reason that like Burn stood out a little bit. Like there are like things that like just made some bands a little bit different and better.
I mean, I'll say this. I could have chosen like that band instead. Right?
Yeah.
There's Bonds of Friendship, which also has a great artwork and also is just totally garbage compared to the record that follows it and the record that's before it. It just sits in the middle and like people love it.
Is that the record where there's like just a couple kids holding hands around in a circle?
Yeah. But it's just like the one after it. I don't know what happened there, but it's produced by Brett Gurewitz from Bad Religion or whatever. And it's just like, I suspect maybe he wrote some of it. I don't know if that's really the case or not, but it's like way catchier. It's like I really like that record. What We Believe is that one, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really like that one. And I like the Instead
What We Believe Now.
Yeah. But the LP in between, I just don't. It just falls flat for me. It's the same way. Like I like We're Not in This Alone, and I never listen to Break Down the Walls. It's just personal preference, right? You know what I mean? I own them all, but like
of that era of stuff, like I listened to probably the shittiest record of all of those the most, which is Start Today. The Gorilla.
I love Start Today. I do love it. Yeah, I love it
all the time. Like
it's super catchy.
Back.
Yeah.
My buddy Keith, he got that record from them at the record release show, went home, put it on, heard the harmonica, opened his bedroom window, and chucked it into the road. He was like, this is not fucking hardcore. And just like,
yeah.
and just spun it. I'm like,
yeah. That's
Wow.
incredible. I love it too. It's one of my. I mean, I love that record, right? But you could. I mean, I'm sure there's people that felt that way about Jaybird too. That it's like too poppy or it's like too melodic. You know what I
Jaybird's
mean?
great.
Versus some of the other New York hardcore that was happening at the time, and they were just like, no, this isn't for me. You know, this is like borderline pop punk or
So let
something.
me
But
ask you
I
this,
do like that stuff.
specifically to Tony, and I'm sorry for getting off track. And
Let's stop talking about records we like. Let's
Yes,
bring back
sorry.
the hatred.
no. I want to get back to like when he doesn't. He's talked about a couple Token Entry records now. What do you have the third Token Entry record?
Yeah, that record.
Where it's like the hands. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah,
Weight
that
of the
shit is
World?
terrible. Yeah.
Weight of the World, is that?
Weight of the World.
Weight of the
Yeah.
World.
Yeah, where does that fall into your like dislike?
Awful. Yeah, awful. Really, they really hit. They just hit an ultimate high with Jaybird, and you know that was. They just didn't want to hang in there. Sometimes I like it when bands take it too far. I like the Unity record. I like Dag Nasty Field Day. Sometimes
Wait. Let's go back. Like, look at you, man. You're all fucking sunshine and rainbows. Let's go back to like.
I know.
What about Black Train Jack?
I love Black Train Jack. Yeah, I went and saw
I'm
him.
talking about records you like.
Sorry.
Well, no, because I thought it was extremely bad. I was trying to hobble him.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Kevin, I'm with you on that one. I felt like that Black Train Jack record was like totally in that mediocre.
Such
Like it had the names on it.
We can't even like hate. We're such pure.
I know.
Going back to the records we love.
Yeah. I do really hate the Sex Pistols and Pantera.
I know.
I really do.
I know you do. Kevin? Are you?
Nah, go to somebody else. I'll try to think of something.
All right.
Sorry, I don't want to.
All right.
I have a question for Kevin.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the worst? Okay, sorry, Paul.
Oh, so go ahead, Paul.
Well, it might have been you were maybe gonna ask the same question. My question for Kevin is: so you've got Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, the Ramones, let's say the Smiths and the Cure.
I'll go with the Smiths. I think if one of them had to be detonated with an atomic bomb. Oh, I'm sorry. Proceed with your comment.
Wait, do you have Smith's records, but you think they should be?
I gave them away. I don't hold on to things that I don't like, which is why it's kind of challenging. Because I just get rid of things.
Homework.
There's too many things that I like. But please proceed.
Okay.
So that was the thing. So that was the thing you zeroed in on.
Yes.
Right. Oh no, absolutely. Anything attached to Morrissey.
Yes. Let's not
always or recently.
Let's not give any airtime to him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Simmons.
I mean, hate him or just mildly dislike him. I mean, you know.
All right, my last pick is a tough one because if anyone's heard of this band or this record, I'll be amazed. This is a special category of hate that I've reserved for the last round. It's personal. This is personal hate directed at the members of this group, the band, and what they did. And it's a great story, and I hope everyone will just settle around the fireplace and enjoy my story about
No effects
about this record.
I'm going to put myself on.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me introduce you all to my man Mike. Who you might be thinking is my man Mike. Well, you're staring him right in the face. 'Tis I. I am the Mike who is in this band's name. Why am I in this band's name? Let me tell you. So, about 17 to 18 years ago, I was in a long-distance relationship with a lovely Korean woman in Seoul. And she had a lot of different friends in Seoul. Some of those friends were a couple of French guys and a Korean guy who were into kind of hardcore and fastcore. And they would often go out drinking together. And I think they wanted her to be the singer of a band they were going to form. That never happened, but those guys formed a band. Now, apparently, back in those days, my ex-partner, the Korean woman, had a kind of catchphrase. So she would often say things like, "Hey, my man Mike just sent me a package of Japanese hardcore records from Osaka. My man Mike just sent me like 7 Thin Lizzy records." And you can fill in all the blanks. There's many my man Mikes. But I guess these guys thought it was funny to like form this band, not have her sing, and then use this kind of thing that she used to say, and then deny that the name of the band was named after that thing that they used to say, that she used to say. And they just totally denied it because she was pissed. I was not happy with it. And
I wasn't particularly impressed either.
And then so this record is like generic fastcore. I don't hate it because of that. It's a 10-inch. You might have noticed I don't really hate it because it's a 10-inch. I just hate it because of sort of the mean-spiritedness and the underhandedness of the members of this band. Interesting story. They actually tracked me down to try and give me a copy of this record, and they left it in a live house in Osaka where it sat on a shelf for 3 years. And finally, by chance, a friend of mine saw it and came up to me and handed it to me one day. I had no idea that this existed until they handed me this record. And I was like, Jesus Christ, they actually did it. They named a band after all that like trivial bullshit that happened like maybe 2 years before this record happened. I mean, they even put like, my man, it's like, will you marry me? And then it's like in Osaka, it's like they left a note, searching for Mike Foster. This vinyl is for you. Sorry for using your name. Yes. Now they admit it. Thank you. I miss you. And then it's in Japanese as well. Dumb, trashcore, fastcore, pathetic, juvenile reasons for naming their band. And it's a good story. I mean, if anyone else has a story like this, it's just a good story to tell. That's why I hate this record. I was actually going to break it up. I was going to smash it on air. But it's already got a chunk like taken out of it. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how you can like break a record. There you go. It's broken.
There you go.
Hate this record. Hate the
Nice.
people in this band. Hopefully they'll see this and realize how fucking idiotic they were
Dickheads.
years ago. Paul, follow that.
I'm zipping.
Okay, so,
I'm zipping it.
have you looked them up on Discogs?
Yes, and this is a funny thing. So apparently, if this band is a concept based around the relationship of me and this Korean woman, this morning I was literally shocked to discover they have a second album called I'm Pregnant. But that didn't happen. That's also like some weird like thing that they decided to do.
Not my.
Look it up, my man Mike. One word, my man Mike. Look it up on Discogs and.
I mean, you just broke it. I could buy one right now because I want one because it's you. But I also, if I buy it, do I have to break it?
I mean, I don't know if this record is. I don't know if this record is like.
It's fine. Gorilla Glue. Just,
There you go.
you can patch that.
Good story. Obscure band. Nobody's heard this band. Don't listen to this band. But it's a good story for the podcast. So
It's it's heartbreaking. It's ridiculous.
it's funny now, but at the time it was just like, what a bunch of dicks. Yeah.
Oh,
How long were you? How long were you? I don't know how to ask this question without being ridiculous about it. Like how long were you with this this woman?
Oh, like almost
until
almost 3 years, something like that.
Oh, okay, so long enough where like it shouldn't have
long
been.
enough for someone to form a band and make a record about it.
Yeah. So like if you guys like were together like 4 weeks, it would have been like, hey, remember that guy you used to date? We're gonna do a band about him. This is like a okay, yeah. So that was
just
I hope everyone watching enjoyed this story. That's all I got. That's my last pick.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I mean, this is what happens when virgins form bands.
Right. Yes. All right.
I
Cool.
don't have any more picks because I thought
Okay.
that'd be kicked off way before now.
Okay.
But I am curious about some of those, like
Mm.
the Ramones have some shitty records. We already covered the Sex Pistols.
No bad Ramones records. None.
What about the Misfits?
Well, probably they have a lot with what's his name, what's his face,
Oh, what's his name? Michael Graves.
Michael Graves.
Yeah.
I think the Misfits is kind of a obvious one, but it's like it was weird though. Like I would never have imagined, like back in the 80s, that like in the modern age, so many people would end up like hating the Misfits because, like, you know what I mean? That the whole thing has changed about that band, right? Like the mystique has gone, the reunions at like Madison Square Gardens, this, that, and there's so much stuff that's, you know, happened.
I was never a Dead Kennedys fan.
Okay.
Like, had friends giving me like, I love the Crucifix. I love No Milk on Tuesday. I love that style of vocals. The Dead Kennedys were just a band, and I've got their records. I could have pulled 5 or 6 of those up right now, but they just never hit me the same.
Okay.
Well, at all.
I never pull out their records, but when I do, it's always Plastic Surgery Disasters. Always. There's just a darkness to that record that is just different to all their other records. But yeah, I'm not like a massive fan either. I don't hate them, but yeah.
I don't hate them, but it never, you know, I think that I liked which one I had on cassette. I don't own any of their records now. I'm not going to remember. But anyway, I kind of, you know, some tracks, but they didn't hit me the same way that other things hit me, you know.
Yeah. All right, Tony, do you have like one more pick, or shall we wrap this up, or do you have one more pick?
I like, I should say that I also, I like every single Danzig era Misfits song, and no, you know, other one, you know. And I did see one of those reunions in a giant stadium, and it was actually pretty good. It was pretty amazing. So it wasn't too bad. I didn't think we would get this far. I thought there would be like a screen with like yeah, I thought it'd just be like 20 people, and I would show one record, and that would be the end of it.
Me too.
I didn't think we would even get that far. And because some of the criticisms
are that cowards. How many cowards are out there?
No, come on, don't be afraid. Come on.
So some of the criticism is that we talk too much about the things that we like and not so much the things that we hate. And unfortunately, this last record is kind of another split record that irritates me. Nice. Or as we call in the business,
the one-sided.
A one-sided record, right? You know what I mean? So if we could just make this go away. But I mean, the truth is, right? Do I hate them like I hate Pantera? Not even fucking close, right? You know what I mean? Not even close. I just don't like them. You know? So it's almost worthless. So I'll cheat a little and just say.
I want to just like say something. Actually, it's like, how did Americans like interpret Leatherface so badly? How did they get it like so wrong? Yeah. Leatherface is like kind of dark, north of England, industrial, like gloomy music, and then when American bands who are influenced by Leatherface do it, it just doesn't work. Like none of them, like it
not
just
really. Yeah,
no, because of it's the sound of their music,
right?
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't sound gloomy.
No.
Like if you sit and read the lyrics, it's fucking gloomy and it's just self-poison and horror and sadness. But
and lots of
yeah, it sounds like fucking Bruce Springsteen on amphetamines.
Right. I played a show and walked around Sunderland, you know, where they're from or whatever. Had the headphones on, walking around. It was like a rainy Sunday, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is why this music sounds like this, because of this town, because of like where they're from. This is why it sounds like it does. And I mean, again, look, there's no, in my opinion, zero good hot water music songs. So I'm not backpedaling really. Zero tracks, but like, I understand why kids like them, right? Like I get it. You know what I mean? Like I understand. I don't.
I don't.
Not for me.
I mean, Leatherface. I
disagree,
mean, they're
but
almost the perfect band. I mean, just
Oh, let's concentrate on hot water music. Since this episode is about bands, we don't.
Sorry.
It is interesting. It is interesting though, like how many American bands were influenced by Leatherface, and the end product was something very different, right?
Not good. Oh,
It's not,
or at least not to my taste, for sure. Somebody else's maybe. So, all I can say is if the only other thing I could have pulled that would have brought the pure hate is, but I don't own a record by them. I really dislike Airborne Radar, Black Dice, the Lightning Bolt. These bands from Rhode Island that kind of were playing this chaotic style, and I don't know. I just I had to live through it, and I just hated them, like pure hate, like just hate.
What about
unbridled?
What are your thoughts on like the Locust and stuff like that?
We just asked the exact same question.
I did not like Orchid. I really didn't like the Locust. Yeah, I just but those bands. Okay, whatever.
Charles Bronson?
Let it pass. Love Charles Bronson. Yeah, absolute. Yep. Saw them when not right when they got together, but I saw them in 1996 and in Minneapolis, and immediate fan. Love Charles Bronson. Hate the Locust. I don't know. It's just these are like little lines that we
It's
walk.
like a hair's width of I get it.
Right?
Power violence, yes. Screamo.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's the same scene, the same time.
Yeah.
And
well, okay, so here's a band that I know nothing about, that you guys might know about, or maybe you don't also. And eventually I'm going to get to the band I'm going to talk about. But right now, the band Seisha. I feel like people either liked them or didn't, or had strong. I've never heard them. I'm just sort of curious around.
Yeah, not for me. The kids nowadays, though, I should say, younger kids now, that scene of all those bands, Orchid, just all those bands are everybody loves them. They've really come back into fashion,
right?
Kids that were not alive in the mid '90s now really like those bands. I guess.
So. To me, screamo, emo, don't like any of it really. No, not.
What about?
I do. Somebody posted about Melt Banana. I do love Melt Banana, though. Yeah, that's.
I think there's something when it's deliberately done. I don't like it when a band is just oh wait, somebody brought a trombone tonight. It's come on, guys.
Man. Unless there's Snuff. Snuff can bring a trombone.
Hey, nice. That's it. There we go. That's how we're going to end this episode. Back to the first pick. Snuff, the trombone.
Mike's never going to have me on again.
Let's wrap it up. It was a great time. I had a great time this evening. It was so much fun. Next week, we're back to our usual programming. Great lineup next week, actually. Tony Erber, Nine Shocks Terror, and many other bands. Martin from Career Suicide. And the godfather of hardcore, Al Quint, all the way from.
Oh wow, that is quite a lineup.
Quite a lineup.
Ask Tony
and we're back to the usual programming next week. 5 records we like each. It's going to be a tough week. I'm not sure what to show next week. I've got a bunch of new stuff. So tune in next week. 10 p.m. Eastern.
So after you sign off, sorry, after you sign off, can we still stick around and talk shit?
Yes, we will. And hopefully one day I'll upload all this after episode stuff and make a few dollars off the libelous chat that goes on after we stop.
Right, I'm like taking my clothes off now.
You're going to get me killed, Mike.
Hey, everyone, it worked out nice. Just 4 of us. Oh, plus Artie. I forgot he was here. 5 of us. It's great. It was a great time. We won't do this again. Maybe in 3 years' time. Maybe. Until next time. Everybody, please stay healthy. and stay